Hello, welcome to another Alpha Strike We Played video. My name is Adam.
Hey, I'm Tarron.
And we're here to talk about Mythos.
Bum.
And in particular, the Priory, which are kind of cool.
Very cool.
So these guys basically, they operate as a cell. So there's a whole bunch of cells around, and what did you call them?
They're basically an anti-old one cell.
Anti-old one cell. That was well put. I just can't remember exactly what you said.
So they're kind of like a Knight Templar for old ones sort of thing. You know, they're going around and trying to get rid of all the nasties that are coming back.
Yeah.
Yes.
So this cell focuses on, their cell leader is Professor Zachary Lazarus. So he's basically got his team, and they go up to adventures, and
he's got a cat.
He's got a cat, a Zeus, a lynx or something. Isn't
it?
Yeah.
I think it's a lynx. It looks like a lynx. It's the right size, basically.
And he acts as a familiar because Professor Zachary, he's got some little handy mythos spells and stuff. So
we've seen a few of the familiars in the other factions. So they focus your abilities through them. But shall we start with the Professor?
Absolutely.
So they're all fairly standard human. I mean, apart from the big golem dude and the cat, obviously. Yeah. They're all fairly standard human, so not much in the range of movement. He's a little slower than the others. So a 4 move and a 6 charge. He's got 6 for combat defense, 7 for range, and 9 for arcane
defense, which is nice.
Yes.
So magic,
that's a pretty high arcane defense, actually. 7 sanity, 3 myth he generates, and he's got 20 wounds. He's got a 4 for his limit on his sanity as well, so that's not bad. The others are all 3s or they don't have one, so 4 is not a bad limit. Yeah. Before you flip.
So two out of the 6 models, they don't have any.
So the cat and the golem don't have them.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. He uses a rapier cane,
which is awesome. I'd love to have one of them. They're illegal, but you know.
They're illegal. It's a hidden weapon.
But it's a gentleman's weapon.
It's a gentleman's hidden weapon.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's a +8 combat and causes bleed, and he's got Revenge of Thoth, which is a 9 arcane at 10 inches and causes burn. Which is 9. Yeah, for anti-old ones, he's using a bit of their nastiness there. I wonder if Thoth is one of the good ones. Maybe he is. I'm not sure.
Could be. Look into that.
He's got some funky myth abilities. He's got one that's only once per game, so Embrace the Light. Remove all conditions from friendly faction models and heal this model for 1 wound for each counter removed.
Nice. Real nice. That costs 2, yeah?
Yeah, that's 2 myth points to do that, and you can only do it once a game. And it can't obviously take you over your starting wounds, but if you're getting low on health and everybody's blinded or burned or bleeding or whatever, then that can come in very handy.
I tell you, well, look, once you get into the thicker things, it doesn't take long for those conditions to start to add up. So that's
paralyzes, maybe.
Hello.
But yeah, that would come in handy late game. That would be very cool. He's also got Arcane Heal, so until the end of the turn, enemy models targeting this model with arcane abilities and attacks gain 1 madness per action. Now, that is insane. Think about that. That's just madness.
No pun intended.
Literally madness. I mean, when you've got one of the cultist guys who's, I mean, not your guys because none of them have a limit, but one of the other cultist people that are trying to arcane attack, and they've got a 3 or 4 limit on their madness, and he's just giving them 1 automatically, that's just rude.
Yeah.
That's rude.
But that goes with the theme, because this faction, they have all the knowledge of all these mythos and these old ones.
Yeah, so they're used to dealing with it and turning it around on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
He's also got command, so this model may spend 1 myth to choose an enemy model as a new target for singular purpose for Maharal, which is the golem guy, and we'll get to him.
He's awesome.
That's pretty cool. That's, very cool. He's got the standard leader ability that gives him the extra action. He's got arcane warding, so friendly models within 6 inches suffer 1 less wound from arcane abilities and attacks to a minimum of 1, of course.
Okay.
Which is very handy.
Yeah.
Keep everybody grouped up and they don't take as much damage. I like Fencer. Fencer is cool. I hadn't thought of that, but that's very cool. So this model rolls 3d6 for combat defense against enemy combat attacks and discards the lowest result.
Oh.
I like that. That's very good. That's to represent the whole thing with the cane.
God, that makes him really... Jeez.
That makes him harder to hit. A lot harder to hit. I mean, if you roll crap like I do, then you're screwed anyway. But, you know, you get 3 1s, you discard a 1. But when you're a decent roller, you can drop that 2 or 3 out and still have an 11 or a 12, and that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
If you try to gang up on him, you know, because you want to get those extra numbers and things like that, that will still help him to survive.
Yeah. Oh, that 3d6, yeah, I think that's pretty good.
I like that.
That's a cool thing, and that's a neat representation for a decent fighting ability, a defensive fighting ability.
Yeah.
I like it. And he's got the mental strain, which we've seen on others, where you get a myth if you do extra arcane attacks.
You got to spend a myth.
Yeah, you got to spend a myth to do more than 1.
Considering he's the leader and he does actually have like a limit of 4.
Yeah.
You might want to be careful. But I don't know. Yeah, it should be all right. Which his sanity was 7 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, 7 sanity. So he's not too badly off. Was it you have to roll? You have to get a 13, so you need 6s. But still not too badly off. That's below average on 2d6. So there you go. Put that in your statistics. That's odd. He loses his charge altogether when he flips. He's not allowed to charge.
Well, considering the background or whatever, maybe he's just, he gets a bit overwhelmed with the whole, like, exposed to madness and things like that. So
there you go. So, yep. So his move stays the same. Everything else stays the same. Attacks still the same, except that his arcane attack goes out to 12 inches now instead of 10. So he gets an extra 2 inches on his arcane attack. He still keeps command, but his other 2 myth abilities disappear.
12 inches. That's good.
Yeah. He still keeps his leader, but he loses the others and he gains Purify the World. So if able, this model must cast Revenge of Thoth at the closest enemy model as its first action each time it activates.
Okay.
So that's why they're taking your charge away. They want you to be zapping people with the thing. So maybe Thoth isn't one of the good ones.
No, maybe he's gone a bit loopy.
He's losing his shit. So uncontrolled energies flip. When this model flips to this side, all models within 8 inches, including this model, must pass an arcane defense test or suffer 4 wounds.
Whoa!
So, yeah, that's not good.
Ooh.
I mean, it's good if you're in, like, the enemy territory and you're surrounded by bad guys and they all have really low arcane defense and not much health left. But other than that, it's not good.
Wow.
So, yeah. My advice would be to keep him on his happy side.
I think so.
But that's very cool. I like that. Just as a character, just as a set of abilities, that's very, very cool. I do like that fence, so that's very awesome. That's very handy. But I like his familiar as well, Zeus. Actually. Yeah, he's got Zeus, so he's got the familiar trait, so he's got the familiar ability, so Professor Lazarus can chuck his arcane bolts through him. He's got a 6 move and a 9 charge, 6s all round on his defenses. He's got a 5 sanity, but no limit on his madness, so that's kind of cool. Produces 2 myth and has 12 wounds. His only attack is his claws, and that's a +6 combat with blind.
Blind? Okay.
So he goes for the eyes.
Go for the eyes! Should call him Boo.
I like it. Oh dear. At the start of this model's activation, Twin Souls costs you 1 myth. So at the start of this model's activation, you may pay 1 myth to flip this card. And you flip it, and he's got Twin Souls on the other side as well. So you can flip him backwards and forwards however you feel like.
Okay.
Which is cool for one myth.
But that doesn't mean he has to roll on that table.
No.
Just from flipping like that, which is good too.
Yeah, but if he starts his turn on the other side, and it looks like his abilities change, so maybe they get cool stuff that you actually want to use. So he's got his familiar thing. He's got acrobatic. So this model ignores difficult terrain, obstacles up to 2 inches in height, and may re-roll combat attack tests immediately following a charge that included a jump.
Oh, okay. So it's like a leapy thing.
Yeah. So
Leapy
if
thing.
falling, it may make a combat defense test and to avoid suffering wounds.
Right.
So if you include a jump in your charge, so ignores difficult terrain and obstacles up to 2 inches in height, so I assume that's the jump bit, you can re-roll your combat attack. And that's 3 dice that you're re-rolling, which is pretty good.
So you might want to look at having some sort of creative terrain on your table.
Yes. Try and get it to a point where it'll be
jumping off cars and
going over walls stuff. And things all over the place.
That'd be cool. Just watching him jump across the top of cars. Before the
you could have an old battlefield with like some old World War One tanks and stuff around the place. You could leap over those.
You could do.
That would be cool. So he's an animal, so he's not able to repurpose Bahara. We'll get to him in a minute. So he can't do that ability where he gives him single purpose. Cat reflexes, so he can ignore disengaging strikes.
Oh, that's nice.
So he can run around and do stuff. And he's unique, so you can only have one of him. And let's see what happens when you flip him. He's still unique, and he's still acrobatic, so he gets his reroll on jumping stuff. His stats, I think, his combat defense and arcane defense go up by 1.
Whoa, okay.
So they go up to 7 instead of 6. And his claws are slightly better. They go up to a 7 instead of a 6. They still cause blind. He's got his twin souls still there, but he gains Bastet's Blessing. So any non-condition damage suffered by this model is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Okay, so he gets a bit tougher.
Yeah, it gets a bit tougher.
That's cool.
He's no longer a familiar. Importantly.
Okay.
So yeah, he doesn't have the familiar trait anymore.
And of course there is the standard risk. Now he's on the altered side at the start of the turn. You've got to check.
You've got to check on your madness table and do all of that stuff. So yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
I mean, it's good to have the ability to up your defenses and attacks and reduce damage. But that familiar thing is kind of handy. So I don't know. But you spend a myth point and you can flip in between the two any way you want.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really matter.
But it's good. Like I guess it depends how far away he is from an opponent and things like that.
You can decide which one
the professor's doing as well. So.
Yeah. Where he is on the battlefield, where everybody else is, what he needs to do, all that sort of stuff. So I can see where it would come in handy.
One thing I like about this faction is the other members seem to have like a purpose. They have like a specific thing that they're known to do.
They're all connected into each other.
Yeah, they have their skills, and it's not like I play Path of Chronozon, so they've got a lot of cultists, which just seem to be, it's a dude, a cultist, and
yeah, cultist A.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it works fine. They've got a good theme, and I like it. But like with these characters, they have a purpose. They're really, really cool. Like Kitty Page, which we'll have a look at now. Like she's like their mechanic. She keeps all their equipment working and things like that, and she's kind
which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like the steampunk tech head.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's a fairly standard human as far as movement stats and stuff goes. So 4 move, 7 charge, 6 for combat and arcane defense, and a 7 on range defense.
Yeah.
She got a 6 for her sanity, which isn't bad. It isn't awesome, but it isn't bad. Only generates 1 myth. I suppose that's the tech thing.
Yeah. She's more
technically oriented. And 15 wounds, so she's not doing too badly there either. She's got her nail gun. She's got a nail gun, people. Stay out of way of this. So she's got a ranged version and a base combat version. So ranged, it's 6 inches with a 7+, +7 and causes bleed.
Yeah.
And the close combat version is a +6 and causes paralyzed.
Oh, see, there you go. That's what you want.
Yeah. I'm just seeing that in my head as her going in your spine. And I'm just, oh my god.
Down you go.
Yeah. Down I go. Oh dear. She can sprint. I think we've seen that on models before. So she gets +2 to her move and charge actions.
Yeah.
By spending a myth. Tough as nails. I'm pretty sure I've seen before. Any non-condition damage suffered by this model is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 1.
Yep.
And she's unique. She also has solid as a rock. So friendly models within 12 inches may re-roll all dice for the madness test they are required to take in the start phase.
Yep.
Which is cool.
That is very cool.
You need her on your team, buddy.
Well, maybe I can entice her to join, you know.
So that means that madness chart that you're rolling against, you can re-roll it. And that is very, very handy.
Yeah, definitely.
Very handy. She's also got a good impression. So this model may re-roll all dice for 1 test or attack once per turn while it's got line of sight to the professor.
Yeah.
So she's trying to impress him and be cool. So she gets to re-roll her dice, which is cool. And re-rolls in anything are usually handy.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely in this game.
If you're like me and you seriously screw your dice rolls up, then having a re-roll, it doesn't always help, but it gives you another chance to screw it up.
Maybe you should get her into the Wildborn instead then.
Yeah, I see.
Ask her if she likes blood magic.
It's pity she's unique. We can have one each.
That's true.
Yeah. Her stats change a little bit. Her range defense goes down to 6, and her combat defense goes up to 7.
Okay.
She's generating 2 myth instead of 1, which is odd. But there you go.
Maybe because she's altered or whatever, maybe the myth is
touching
her a bit more.
She's starting to flip out a bit, I think. She loses all her other abilities except for unique and gains crippling indecision, which can't be a good thing.
No, it doesn't sound good.
When this model flips to this side, it must make an immediate sanity test. If failed, the model gains the fatigue condition.
Yeah, okay.
If this happens during this model's activation, it loses 1 AP and the condition does not clear until the end of her next activation.
Right.
So as soon as you flip, you have to take a sanity test. You fail, you're fatigued. So just kind of like, what do I do?
Okay.
Lose an action, sort of thing.
Sorry, I'm going to borrow that. So she has a limit of 3.
Yeah.
On her ready side.
Starts with a limit of 3 on the ready
Okay.
side.
That's still pretty good.
As do the other 2 human characters.
Yeah. That's still pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. She's a pretty solid model, and that solid as a rock that's not bad.
Yeah,
I do like
really
the nail
helpful.
gun idea though.
Yeah,
very cool.
that's good. So who we got next?
Oh, dear.
Let's have a look at Bertie.
Yep.
So there is a story about Bertie in the main rulebook at the start.
Yep.
And we've actually done a little video where we read that to you. So keep an eye out for that. That's going to go up soon.
Yep.
He was actually a pilot in the Great War.
So he's had a bit of experience with the whole nasties thing.
Yeah, he's flying along up in the clouds at dawn or whatever, and he saw something, and it was something.
It was horrible.
Yeah, and it
Nasty
basically changed
horrible.
a bit. But he got into a bit of he sort of met up with another one face to face when he got back when the war was over. In an alleyway, he was heading home, and he got jumped.
Which is not a nice thing.
Yeah, you see something sort of rip a hole in time and space or whatever, and sort of
Belch
Ring
out
it
and
through.
sort of go, is this Los Angeles? No, mate.
No, mate.
Crap, sorry.
But he's really cool because he has a weapon, a flamethrower.
Yes, this is one of pretty much the only one we've seen so far that uses the templates.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any that use the templates so far. This is my first one.
Do a bit of damage with
So
that.
it's a +8. So I'm pretty sure it hits everything under there, doesn't it?
You basically, you do like one roll and you do it against everybody.
Yeah.
So you compare that stat against everybody.
All right. So your roll is at a +8 with the template as the range. Causes burn, and interestingly, you can spend a myth point to use this ability, which says burn in hell. So flamethrower ignores cover this activation. So it must go individually then, I guess. I don't know. But we'll figure it out.
It'll be in the rules. We'll have a look.
We'll have a look in the rules.
I've got it. Let's have a look.
Yeah, while I'm reading this, you can have a look. So he's also got a knife, as if you need that with a flamethrower.
A flaming knife.
That can ignore cover. I mean, geez. So that's a +8 in base contact and causes bleed. He's got fairly standard stats, so 4 move, 7 charge, 7 combat, 8 range defense, and 6 arcane defense, which is kind of cool. 6 sanity, not bad. Only generates 1 myth, and 18 wounds. He's got another one that affects friendly models within 12 inches, which is kind of cool. His is keep moving. So friendly models within 12 inches may make a free 3-inch move after successfully defending against a ranged or arcane attack. So that's pretty good. That keeps everybody moving. That keeps everybody shuffling forward and or backwards if you need to. But that's 2 of them here that have abilities that affect everyone within 12 inches. So that's pretty cool. He's got War is Hell. So this model may re-roll sanity tests when testing for fear, because he's been through it, he's seen it. So he gets to re-roll. He's unique, obviously. And he's got one called Frankly, My Dear.
Frankly, my dear.
Extend quote here. This model may re-roll all dice for 1 test or attack once per turn while it has line of sight to Abigail or Kitty. So Abigail Halsey and Kitty Page are the other 2 humans. And yeah, while he can see them, he's trying to be better than them, I guess, or show off for them.
Show off for them, yeah. That sounds about right.
So he's allowed to re-roll, so that's pretty cool.
So I had a look. So Birdie will do basically one was it range whatever
attack
the flamethrower. Yep. So it adds +8. So you have the initial target. You pick an initial target and you place that over as best you can. So this then goes against his base.
Yep.
And then that goes the center as close as you can over the target you want to hit. So
Okay.
there's a line on there, so follow that. And then everyone else who's under it, everyone does their own defense roll.
Okay.
But Birdie does 1 attack roll and everyone compares against that.
Okay. And if he spends that myth point for that ability, they don't get to add cover to their defense roll.
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
So those who are in cover cannot be the primary target.
Okay.
It can only be someone who's in the open, but they can be hit by it. So if you're sort of behind a wall or behind a building or whatever, if the template covers them, even though they're out of sight, they can still get hit by it. The flame engulfs them.
I'm interested in the effect of turning that on before you pick a target. Because if it ignores cover, but you're not allowed to make someone in cover the primary target. If you say 1 myth, it ignores cover. Oh look, I'll make you my primary target.
The cover bonus.
Okay.
Protection, because you get a bonus.
So you're only really ignoring the cover bonus, not cover itself.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And another interesting thing, he spends 1 myth to activate the burn, and that's for everyone. It applies to everyone under the template, so that's really good.
Ouch.
I like that.
Even if they pass their defense test?
Oh, if you pass...
Oh,
yeah,
right,
but
okay.
yeah. So,
if you fail your defense test, 1 myth applies burn to everybody.
Yeah. So
That's
you do your
cool.
primary target and see if you get it, and then you can just... Yeah, so as soon as you get somebody, then you could apply it then, and then anyone after that, yeah, you get it. So that's really cool.
I can see why they don't have many of them in here.
Oh, Kitty Page,
Wow.
you know how to make a weapon, eh?
Yeah.
My kind of girl.
I was going to say, I assume she built that, seeing as she's their mechanic.
That's her thing, yeah.
Yep. Nice.
So what happens when he flips? Let's have a
So
look.
when he flips, his stats do not change.
Can't use a flamethrower anymore, though.
No, but he can't use his flamethrower anymore. He loses the Frankly My Dear, the War is Hell, and the Keep Moving, and he gains Mission First. So this model does not provoke disengaging strikes while holding an objective. So if there's any that I assume you're carrying.
Yeah, they have them.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's missions in there, scenarios in there where part of the point system is that you carry an actual objective. So if he's holding them, he doesn't provoke disengaging strikes, which is huge. That is a big thing.
It is. It's very cool.
So Last Man, this model may re-roll its result on the Madness table, which is kind of cool as well. And then he's got Jumping at Shadows. So this is a flip ability. So when this model flips to this side, it must make an immediate flamethrower attack against the closest other model within range, friendly or enemy, if able. Roll 3d6 for the attack and inflict burn on the target regardless of the outcome.
Whoa.
This attack ignores all modifiers. Flamethrower may not be used for the remainder of the game, even if there was no target.
Fun!
So he goes, ah!
It just whoosh.
And lets the whole tank out. And just chucks the flamethrower away and starts hacking people with his knife.
Why not?
That's some cool
That
stuff.
is
I
really
like
cool.
that. That's very awesome. I'd be setting him off just to watch him do that.
It's a lot of damage, potentially.
That's a
damage.
load. Yeah. 3d6 for the attack and burn regardless of the outcome and ignores modifiers.
Yeah.
So you're just a straight roll, I
Yep.
guess. No
So
cover,
no, that's it.
no
Yep,
weirdness,
just-
no nothing.
No.
You don't get any modifiers to that dice roll. He's potentially hurting some. He's potentially hurting some of his people.
Well,
as
yeah,
but
yeah, true.
That's pretty cool. I like it. Goes away for the rest of the game, but if he's flipped anyway, then you're probably close to the end of the game.
That's right.
Or you're really unlucky. So we've got Abigail Halsey left, and we've got Maharal left as well. So I think Abigail, if I remember correctly, found a journal of a rabbi that taught her how to make golems.
That's correct.
Is
Yep.
what you were
Play
telling me.
golems. Yep.
He reads the flop. I haven't read all the flop. So Maharal is a golem, and she created him with the instructions that were in this journal that she found. So let's do her first, and then we'll do the golem, because the golem is really cool. So Abigail is their archaeologist, their researcher, sort of thing. Again, fairly standard human stuff. So she's got a 4 move, 7 charge, 7 combat and arcane defense, and a 6 for range defense. She's got 6 sanity, which isn't bad but isn't good. Generates 2 myth, which is more than the other 2 do, and 15 wounds. She's got a base combat with a pick, which is a +7 and causes bleed.
Nice.
And she also has Revenge of Thoth, but only out to 8 inches rather than the 10 that the professor has. So that's a +8, 8 inches, and causes burn. So research is 1 myth. When this model activates, it may spend 1 myth to gain the ability to re-roll all the dice rolled for 1 attack or test this turn.
Nice. Yep.
Not bad.
Yep.
Not bad at all. Yeah. Reassuring Presence. This is her 12-inch bubble ability. These 3 all have a 12-inch bubble ability.
Of something.
Yeah. So friendly models within 12 inches gain +1 to their sanity statistic for any tests they are required to take.
That's nice. That's good.
Yeah. So these 3 basically go up to a 7 instead of a 6 if they're within 12 inches of her and have to make a test.
Yeah, it's really good.
That's pretty cool. Apprentice. So this model gains +1 to arcane attacks when within 8 inches of the professor.
Yeah.
So she's learning her Revenge of Thoth from him, and he's learning it from Thoth, I assume.
He's learning from someone.
Somebody's teaching him. It's the voices.
Maybe it's that Madame, what's her name? Madame Adrestia? Adrestia or something? Yeah, so she's the head of everything, yeah. So she talks to all the leaders of each cell.
That's it. You have
directs them
cells
what
and
to
you
do.
have handlers for cells, and then you have handlers who handle the handlers who handle the cells.
Yeah.
You know, so nobody can tell anybody anything. Like,
she's a mystery, and she's the only one who knows everybody. So that's
nobody can get the information sucked out of their brains by some otherworldly squid being. That happens. I've seen it. It's not pretty. No. She's unique, and she's got the mental strain as well, so she has to spend myth points for additional arcane attacks. Standard, fairly. For humans trying to use arcane attacks, it is. So when she flips, stats stay the same. Her attacks stay the same. She loses research, obviously. She's not in the mood for that anymore. Okay. She's still got mental strain and unique, but she loses the others. So reassuring presence and apprentice go away. And she gets Father warned me. This model suffers -1 to arcane attacks within 8 inches of Professor Zachary.
Okay.
So there, she's trying to, she's his apprentice and she's trying to look good, so she's better at it. She's within range of him, so she's going, yes. But then when she flips over, she's like, you sod. Why have I got flames coming out of my hands?
But it's still good because they're, like you said, the bubbles to 12 inches.
Yeah, so when she flips, she can just kind of move away, sort of thing.
Yeah.
She automatically does anyway. We'll get to that in a second. Still got mental strain. Agathiophobe. Agathiophobe? Yeah. Take a sanity test every time this model wishes to use myth. So if it fails, discard the myth and do not gain the effect. Now, she doesn't have any myth abilities left, but you can use myth to set off the critical ability on your combat attacks. So she's not going to be able to do that if she doesn't pass that sanity test.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there were a couple of other abilities that require you to spend a myth to do. And she's still got mental strain, so if she's trying to cast or throw more than one Revenge of Thoth, she has to spend myth to do that. Which means she's going to have to spend a myth. Yeah, she's going to have to spend a myth and make a sanity test in order to cast a second Revenge of Thoth.
So there's a lot of risk involved once you flip
A lot of risk.
So, yeah.
But she's also got Dreamwalker, which is a flip ability. So when Abigail flips to this side, place her model anywhere within 2d6 and roll immediately. 2d6 inches and roll immediately. You may place this model in base contact with an enemy. If you do, they suffer 2 wounds.
Wow.
So you immediately roll 2d6, you put her that many inches away, and it can be in base contact with someone, and if you do, they suffer 2 wounds.
Oh, that's helpful.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Yeah, and it gets her out of the 8-inch range, hopefully.
True.
Hopefully.
But if there's a model that your opponent's sort of protecting or moving away because they're close to going down, she can just...
Gets her closer, gets her
instant
hopefully 2 damage. Yeah. And I mean, that's a potential for 12 inches of movement.
Yeah.
An immediate movement, not even like, oh, I've got to go over this and over this. And
it's just, you're there.
Yeah, you place her model anywhere within 2d6.
Oh, so good. So good.
That's a real flip out, that is. I mean, that's a literal flip out.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a flip out and about.
Yeah, that's several cartwils. That's like, oh my god.
All right, so we've got one left, which is probably the most interesting, I think. They're all very interesting, but the way he works is kind of cool.
Yeah, so Maharal is a golem. So those of you with know will know that that's basically a clay man with the word for life. So he's that. He's a big, you see the back of the thing there. He's huge. He's enormous.
What size? But he's large. So large.
Yeah, he's got a large
Everyone else
base.
is small. So yeah, that's the biggest.
He's 24 points, so I suppose it shows. He's got pretty decent stats. The flip side is weird. So he's got a move of 5, a charge of 8. He's got 7s for combat and range defense, and a 6 for his arcane defense. He's got a sanity of 7, generates 2 myth points, and has 28 wounds.
Okay, that's good.
Which is pretty cool. Now, his base combat ability is called Lamp Post.
Which is what he's holding.
Which is what he's holding. I don't know if you're looking, hopefully you're looking at the mini right now because he's got a lamppost in his hand. So it's a +8 and causes fatigue. I'd be fatigued if he hit me with a lamp.
I would imagine, yeah.
He can use a myth to cause sandstorm. So unless already in hard cover, models within 8 inches of this model are considered to be in soft cover until end of turn.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's like the Dunham Witch, which was the one in that faction that had the fog thing. Somebody had a fog that gave everybody soft cover if they didn't already have hard cover.
I'm sure that was her. Yeah.
I think it was the witch.
Yeah.
He's got Abomination, which is one we've seen before. Causes fear. Madness is gained regardless of whether you pass or fail the fear test.
Duh. Lamppost.
He's a 19-foot tall brick with a lamppost in its hand. And it's moving. Singular Purpose is the interesting one. So when Maharal first activates, mark an enemy model. Maharal gains +2 combat attacks while targeting marked model. Does not provoke disengaging strikes from any model except the marked model, and if the marked model is slain, immediately flip this card. So he gets +2 to hit it, doesn't get hit by anything except it if he disengages from people, and when he kills it finally, which he probably will, let's face life, he flips. And his flip side is very interesting, but we'll get to that in a second. He's unique, and he's got a sweeping strike. Again, we've seen sweeping strike before, I'm pretty sure. If he inflicts at least 1 wound with his lamppost, I love saying that, it may immediately perform another combat attack against a different enemy model in base contact for free.
Yeah.
Can't target the same model twice, so he kind of sweeps across. We've seen that before. It's pretty cool. You have to cause at least 1 wound. And you need to be kind of being surrounded, but it helps you clear people out. It's really good.
Yeah.
So when he flips,
ta-da!
Ta-da!
Oh my goodness!
Good lord! He can't move anymore. Seriously, have a look at that. He's moving his charge as 0. So I think basically what happens is when he kills his target, he shuts down. He goes, okay, I killed that one, now what? And he waits for something. So he won't go anywhere, but his defenses go through the roof. He's got 10 for everything.
Yeah.
He's got a 12 sanity.
Why not?
So nothing phases you when you're an immobile rock. He doesn't generate myth anymore. He was generating 2 myth on his other side, but he doesn't generate any myth anymore. But he's still got his 28 wounds. And he's got repurpose. Now, I assume this is a myth ability. Or it might be an action. So other friendly models within, it's an action. Other friendly models within 8 inches may take this action. Choose an enemy model as a target for singular purpose and flip this card.
So he activates again.
You go,
pick a new target.
Hey, Bozo, get that guy.
Yeah.
And he goes,
and off he goes again.
That's so cool.
It is very cool, yeah.
I like it.
It's really good.
He loses Abomination, Singular Purpose, Sweeping Strike. He loses all of it except Unique. He's got a flip ability, which is Awakening. So if Maharal is attacked, immediately flip this card and gain Singular Purpose, marking the attacker. So that the Singular Purpose is the one that gives him the bonuses and disengaging strikes and marks the target. So if you're the first one to hit him while he's shut down, you become his new target.
So he can attack anybody, but he just gets those nice little bonuses.
Yeah.
Against that one.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
It's pretty cool. Scouring Sand. So until this card is flipped, any enemy model that starts or ends their activation within 3 inches of Maharal suffers -1 to move and charge until their activation ends and suffers 1 wound.
Oh, nice.
So if you start or end within 3 inches of him, you get the sand thing. So he must kind of like shut down, and some part of him is like generating this.
Well, it's highly magical. It's got to be. So yeah,
that's like, I'm going to sit here and just protect myself until somebody comes along and tells me what to do, or someone stupid comes and hits me.
That's right. You'd want to send something big to go and attack him, because it'd be just silly.
Or lots and lots of little things.
Yeah,
and you have more surround him, and then one hits him and runs away, and the others can like hold him there.
or something like that.
He doesn't get disengaging strikes except against the mark model, but if there's too many models, then maybe you can't move out.
But then he's doing sweeping strikes.
He's doing sweeping.
So it's like,
oh my god, he's a nightmare. Look at him.
Cool. He is very cool.
He's also got Dormant, one more ability, Dormant. So he may not move or take any actions during his activation, and any conditions are removed when he flips to this side.
Oh, nice.
While in Dormant state, Maharal is immune to all conditions. So you can't burn him, you can't paralyze him, you can't do any of that stuff. None of it works. And that is awesome. I like him.
So that's interesting. So if he's sort of got a lot of conditions on him and he's sort of struggling a bit, if you can take out the target that he's selected, he will shut down and he'll lose all of them. They'll all get removed.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
that
that.
gives you some options.
So that command ability that the professor has comes into clarity now. So this model may spend 1 myth to choose an enemy model as a new target for singular purpose. So, I mean, you could say, well, Maharal's having problems, get the professor to designate a small squishy enemy that's surrounded already.
That he's about to use his
fancy
cane
to kill.
Yeah.
And that will shut him down and get rid of all those conditions and stuff like that.
Very nice.
That
Very
is...
nice.
He's awesome.
He is cool.
And seriously, that model is really cool. I like it. I can see that in like a brick color.
Oh yeah.
With like he looks like he's got like a little clamp thing over his arm to hold it on. It's so cool.
It's cool. So
very cool.
The Warcradle Studio guys have actually painted up these models. So
they got them on the side.
We've got examples. We'll put those up on the screen if you haven't done it already, so you can have a look. But I really like the feel of this faction.
They're very cool.
They'd be a lot of fun.
If I hadn't seen Wildborn first, I would very definitely have considered these guys because I like the idea of it as well.
Yeah,
that as
that's
like an anti-old one squad. It's like Warehouse 13 or
Yes.
something like that. You know, X-Files for Cthulhu.
But the characters, they do. They have their own little purpose and little quirks and things like that. They have a lot of character to them. I really, really like them.
Yeah, that's a very cool faction.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to know if anybody's played these yet.
Indeed, yeah.
Yeah, I want to see if he can beat Face like I think he can. It says lamppost on this thing. That's awesome. It's just awesome. He's got a lamppost. Look at it.
So that's the Priory. I like them.
I reckon they're awesome, yeah.
I think you guys will like them too.
Yeah. So get stuck in, guys.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay, until next time.
All good.
See ya.
Bye. That's freaking cool.
Yeah.
Look at him.
I know. Yeah.
Karen say lamppost a couple more times.
Lamppost, 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 lamp.
What is